Hi everyone, how are you doing? This is Ramanuj from 𝗂𝗶𝗂. Welcome to today's session. So who are the what do you do? Where are you logging from? What's your name? Introduce yourselves in the chat quickly. All right, so I'll introduce myself. I am Ramanuj Mukherjee, CEO of 𝗂𝗶𝗂, and English, learning English is definitely something very close to my heart. I struggled a lot to learn English myself when I was uh, trying to become a lawyer, joining law school, and from there I learned English almost on my own effort. Mostly, I mean, yeah, I'm not almost totally on my own efforts, and there wasn't much help available. But there is something very important that I want to talk about today: a role played by things that we learn as kids when we are very young. There are a lot of things we learn as kids, and that really hold us back when we are trying to improve our knowledge and our skills in everything, but especially when it comes to uh, especially when it comes to learning English. It's a big challenge that all of you are going to face, and we'll find out. As I am going to talk about this today, I'm going to ask you about your experiences also, and it'll be very interesting to see what do you say, right? All right, so let's get started quickly. Hi Anupam, hi 𝗂𝗵𝗶𝗶, hi Fahad. You feel frustrated and strained in my brain when I try to talk in English with others. Don't worry, it will change with practice. Okay. So, all right. There are some people watching this on YouTube also. Hi, 𝗁𝗂𝗴𝗵𝗁, right? Yeah. So, welcome. Uh, Going back to the presentation, we pick up a lot as a child, right? So good things, bad things, everything you pick up, right? For whatever is happening in your environment. Can you anybody any examples? Network issues my end. Can you guys hear me? Right? Yes, no, maybe. Audible? Audible. Right? Yes, if you can hear me. Is it better? Is it any better now? Can you guys hear me now? Is it clear now? Okay. Okay, fine. It's working then. So, superb. So if you can't hear me, just let me know in the chat. So I can actually address that. I have multiple internet connections, so I can always switch from one connection to another. So please let me know if there's any problem. Okay. All right. So let's get back to our discussion. So obviously, like when we are kids, we, I mean, our environmental is a great teacher, and we learn a lot from our environment. Our brains are wired like that, so that we can learn a lot from the environment very quickly without even people having to teach us. We learn a lot of things. Okay, so you can tell your children anything, they will not listen to you. This is like an adage, right? You can tell your children that don't say lies, don't cars or whatever, like whatever you tell them, it's all right, but they'll not listen to you. They will see what you do and do exactly that. How many of you know this, that whatever children do, they copy? It doesn't matter, you can give them great advice, but they are not going to follow that. They are going to do exactly what they see the older people in the environment doing. Yes, no, maybe. Do you agree with this? Anybody? Yeah. Okay. So when they become teenagers, though, when children grow up a little and they become teenagers, they also rebel against their parents and all the older people. That happens, right? Have you noticed that happens? Yes, no, maybe. Does that happen? Yeah. Anyone? Teenagers rebel, right? And that's also very important, because whatever they have learned from their parents, that is put through test, and they are going to learn other new things. It is also a very important part of human development. So when you are a child, you almost believe anything that your parents are saying, anything they're doing, whatever they might have to say, you believe it blindly. But when then when you grow up, you develop your own judgment. And when you're a teenager, you start questioning everything altogether, right? And this is also a very important part of growing up. However, it is very hard to unlearn what you learned as a child. Okay, have you ever experienced this? If you have developed a habit when you are a child, when you grow up, to forget that habit or get out of that habit is extremely hard. How many of you have experienced it in your life? Can you give me any example, anyone, that you have developed a habit? I can give you my example. For example, I'm just going to tell you, my parents were not very organized. Okay, sorry for the typo. I grew up in a cluttered household. Okay, it is hard for me to organize things, right? So I have to rely on other people to do it for me, that please keep things organized. I like to be in an organized environment, but for me to do it myself is very hard, because I have subconsciously, I have no habit of creating an organized environment. So, or I have to put in a big effort to change those habits. So if there are certain habits, I have to create a huge make a huge effort. I have to learn. It took me 6 years to learn to manage a calendar. Then also I am only able to manage a calendar because now I have a personal assistant. But to follow a schedule was almost impossible for me. So how many of you actually find impossible to follow a schedule, and you think that I am indisciplined, right? But it is highly likely that you have never seen people. When you are a kid, you have done whatever, whenever, and you really did not have a real schedule, or you never planned your day as a child, or you did not see your parents planning their day, for that matter, right? And they did not have anything. Like, my parents did not do anything that required any planning. Their planning was automatic, kind of, and they didn't have to do anything that required such planning. But imagine that I am not doing what my parents did, right? They did government jobs. It was simple enough. But for me, I am running a company. I'm trying to build a business. I'm the CEO of a company. There are 100 people who I have to manage. So obviously, I need a different skill set, but it's a different habit is also required, right? So same thing, when you are a child, you learn things easily. And Fahad has given very good example how easily we had learned our mother tongue without any efforts, but we are facing serious issue in speaking English, which we are learning from more than 10 years. Correct? This is also a very good example. Or learn languages itself. When I was a kid, I learned to speak Hindi. Okay, did not have to make any effort. Why did I learn to speak Hindi? My mother tongue is Bengali, right? Nobody was speaking much of Hindi around me. But I started watching movies and TV was in Hindi, right? So I started watching TV and learned Hindi from there. How many of you learned Hindi like that? Is there anyone here whose mother tongue is not Hindi, but you effortlessly learned Hindi by watching TV and stuff like that? Anyone here like that? Yes, no, maybe. You learned Gujarati like that, right? Someone in the other session was saying that she learned Bengali because she lives in Calcutta and she just heard other people talking in Bengali and she learned. But she was struggling to learn English because in the environment there are not enough people speaking English. And so whatever you learn as a child is very, very important. So I never saw my parents investing in a trainer or a coach or doing a course, right? Although they bought books all the time, correct? So it is hard for me to, even now, it is hard for me to spend on my own education or coaches. I had to learn to change that mindset instead of trying to figure out everything on my own. So my first thing is that, how can I save money, right? How can I save money? Can I learn this myself? Can I figure this out myself? First, this is the thing that comes to mind. Okay. So, and this is how I behave. But now I had to learn that if I really want to produce results, I really need to hire good people, good experts, right? So even if I'm running a company, should I try to do everything on my own? Should I try to figure out everything on my own? Or should I hire good people and give them the responsibility that run this, pay them a good salary, right? So I am almost always afraid to do that, because this is not how it is. This is not what I learned as a child, right? Maybe you have got some misconceptions or blind spots that stop you from getting the results that you want, right? So if you are struggling to learn English, there's a high chance that you have also dealt with some problem like this. Do you think it is possible that there is something in the way, if you're really struggling to learn English and you're not able to improve very quickly, it is possible that you have some misconceptions that you have learned when you were a kid, right? And that is stopping you from doing it. So in my case, that was the case. A lot of things I had learned garbage when I was a kid, and people told me, my school teachers, parents told me about English language, and I learned that. And then that actually was the impediment. I had to unlearn that before I could learn anything else, which is actually useful. So one first example, using difficult words and complicated and long sentences. How many of you had teachers who told you in school that you need to use difficult words and complicated long sentences to get more marks in English, in language classes and all of that, right? Did it happen to you? They said that it is very good if you are writing very new words and complicated words and long complex sentences. If I wrote answers in simple sentences, they'll say, why are you writing simple sentences? If you write complex sentence, I'll give you more marks. Has this ever happened to you? Yes, no, maybe? Anyone? Anupam, Vaibhav? Did this ever happen to you? Any teacher told you this? Ornamental language was encouraged, right? Why is everyone quiet today? I'm getting worried. What is happening today? Why is everyone quiet? What about all the people? This is not a one-way street, guys. Please pick up. Who all are there in the session? Let me check again. Participants. Right? Ajay, Kumar, Amisha, Arun, Komal, Mahima. Did you guys face this? Did anyone ever told you that you need to write, all ornamental language in school to get more marks, and you thought that yes, this is a good thing to do? Did it ever happen to you? Yeah, Sumit. What about the rest? Nobody's saying anything. Okay. So, my English tutor in high school told me that I need to write difficult words and complicated sentences, and then only my English would be good. So if I remember actually the exact incident. So there was something called the statesman for kids. There's something voices. There's some page called Statesman Voices, and people from schools, school children were encouraged to apply for student reporter positions, and you had to write about yourself and send a write up to them, okay, to get selected. So I actually wrote something and showed it to my English teacher, that hoping that he'll help me in some way. And he read it and said, this is not good. I'm like, why? What is the problem? He's like, too simple. You have to write in like a more difficult language. I said, oh shit, I never sent it to the Statesman, whatever, Voices, because I thought it is not good enough. And my teacher discouraged me. And what did he say to discourage? That you have to write more complicated words and complicated sentences. You wrote in too much simple sentences. This is not good. Okay. So I did not send it. But at some point, I had to learn that the most powerful writing has no frills. And this did not happen, somewhere in the middle of college, I realized, when I started blogging, really. It is simple to understand. You don't have to write with frills. It has no frills. It's simple to understand. And the simplicity itself has a massive impact. How many of you think like this, that when I'm writing something, I need to use the most simple language possible? Have you ever thought, I need to make it the most easy to read? Do you think like this? This is a better language. The easiest possible language is better language. Okay. So why do you write? Just think about, I'll tell you why you need to write in the most simple language. Why do you write? Okay. Who do you write for? Who is your audience? More important than what you write, it's always very important that who do you write for? What do you want to leave them with, right? Once they have whatever you have written, maybe it's a mail, maybe it's an article, maybe it's a Facebook post, LinkedIn post, Twitter post, Instagram post, whatever it is. Maybe it's a blog post. What do you want to leave them with? When they're done reading with that particular thing, what would they be thinking? What they would be feeling? That you're a very educated man / woman, or third, whatever you use for yourself, very educated person, because you know lots of words people generally do not use. Is that the case, right? So that is not, is that what do you think, people should feel after reading whatever I am writing? If you come across someone like that who writes like this, when you read, and they have written in full of like difficult words, complex sentences, hard to read. There was one guy like this in a senior batch who used to write such long sentences. He was infamous for writing these long sentences, complicated words, and for some reason he thought it was good, but everyone used to laugh, right? Do you know such people who write such very ornamental language, very long complicated sentences, right? Have you seen that? Do you know anyone like that? What do you do? Yeah, guys, Shivek, 𝗃𝗏𝗴𝗵𝗁, Venkat, please respond in the chat. What do you guys think? Can you guys hear me even? What is going on today? Am I audible, guys? So if you come across people like this, okay, will you want to read what they have written? Okay, do you enjoy writing such things? Okay. Anupam is saying, I was one of those guys myself back in high school. Okay. Sir, is the same rule applicable to law as well? Absolutely, especially for law, right? Nobody appreciates. Do you think the judge will decide in your favor if you write in very complicated language? No, he's not even going to read your submissions if you write in a very complicated language. Okay. Do you think your clients will like your contracts more if you write in very complicated language? No, absolute nonsense. I know that there are law teachers also who will tell you to do this. That, oh, you are writing such simple language. This is not good. You have to write legal, complicated language. That is not true. Don't believe them. Today, across the world, lawyers have launched movements to normalize a proper language, not all this arcane language for legal writing. Okay, a lot of lawyers used to write in a very difficult to read language. Yeah. Garima Chadha is saying that whole my life I drafted such amazing documents, but I don't know why my bosses wanted to make it writing difficult all the time. This is also there. There are some lawyers who are old school. They are used to these kind of very complicated documents, and they think that if we write in simple languages, then why should clients pay us? They don't understand that clients are not paying you because you know some difficult words and you're writing in difficult words. That is absolute nonsense. That is changed already in the world. Okay, you are, in fact, if you go to any decent company, if you go to, by the way, we have taught contract drafting in ICICI Bank, even in other big companies, like many of them, right? ITC we have worked with. We always teach, and these are the biggest companies we have worked in Microsoft, the best companies in the world. Nobody appreciates this kind of language. We have worked with law firms also. It is better that you write in the simplest language. Occasionally you will come across this one or two lawyers who think like this, but that is not how the world works. Okay, absolutely not. So, will you respect people just because they're using complicated language? Does that make sense? What can you say? A lot of Supreme Court judges write judgments like this. Hopefully this will change. I mean, this is not a good idea simply because it is not a good, it's not good for business. Because if your clients don't understand what you're writing, how will they appreciate the amazing work that you are doing? If you're writing articles that nobody can read, right, then how will you connect with potential clients? It does not work like that. Writing like this is a sure shot way to fail because you put off the readers. Okay, even the people who write like this, even they don't like to read that kind of language. Okay, when they read, they want to read simple language. Whether someone checking your exam paper or the editor of a publication, anyone who is reading anything from you, and they come across this kind of language, it is very hard for them to read. It will take more time. It will be a Herculean task, like Ajay is saying, and it will be really, really bad. Hi, Vismita. So even your colleagues, if you do this in official communications, are going to be very upset. So it's a very bad idea. Okay, think of Lucky Ali songs. Okay, what is special about Lucky Ali song lyrics? Right, very simple lyrics, and it's very short, very simple, but very sweet. You remember them. People love those lyrics and remember those words. Right. You want to aim for the greatest ease of understanding and reading. Okay, you want to use precise words so that there is no ambiguity. So this is also another thing. You should have a good vocabulary so that you can use precise words and you are not using words wrongly, or when there is a certain word which can explain that thing very well, you are doing that. Never use an extra word, never use an extra sentence. The simpler, the shorter, keep it short and sweet. This is the whole idea about being a good legal writer. Okay, and avoid ambiguity. This is very important because in law we cannot leave any ambiguity when you are writing. So that you have to be very careful about. Using lots of jargons and difficult words expose your own insecurities. Okay, so if you ever come across any person who's writing such difficult words and jargons and long sentences, what should you immediately understand about that person? That this is a highly insecure person. Okay, he is trying to prove how knowledgeable he is by writing this kind of words and sentences, which is very juvenile, right? It's absolutely juvenile, right? So this is very very obvious, and never do this yourself. It's terrible. Okay, the second mistake I want to talk about is trying to speak very fast. How many of you know people who try to speak very fast? How many of you yourself try to go extra fast while speaking? Does it happen to you? Anyone? Fahad, this is why you get a headache. Okay. Okay. So at least Fahad and Sumit has admitted this. Okay. Even other people get a headache, Fahad, not only you. Okay. My father said to me when I was a child that if you speak in English very fast, that means you know English very well, and people will be impressed. Okay, if you have to speak very fast. Okay, look at these cricket commentators, how fast they are speaking. You have to speak like this. You will be like machine gun speaking. Okay, so my father told me this, and I believed him because I'm a child. So when I was speaking English, I was like, oh, I have to speak fast. I have to speak fast to prove how good I am, right? So have you ever seen the president of a country, like whoever, or president of India, or the prime minister of India, or a big political leader, or somebody who is an authority figure speaking very fast? Have you ever seen this happening? I mean, somebody is doing a commentary, I understand that they have to maybe speak a little fast. Cricket commentators still don't. Maybe cricket is a slow sport. Maybe somebody's playing football, you have to say, oh, the ball goes from this guy to that guy and that guy, like that. Okay, and it's in the midfield. Oh, a long shot. So that I can understand. But why else will somebody be speaking very fast? Have you ever seen anyone in public space, in authority figure, speaking really fast? News readers speak a little fast because they have to read a lot of news in a short time. But otherwise, have you ever seen people speaking very fast? Have you seen anyone? Yes, no, maybe. Write in the chat. Yes, no, maybe. Right? You have not. You have seen. Who did you see, Sumit? Please tell. Who did you see speaking very fast? Okay. Tell me. I'll wait for that. So I'll tell you who speaks fast. Lots of lawyers. Lawyers in the court. If you go to the Supreme Court, you see the senior advocate. They speak very slowly. They take their time with the flourish. They make their point. They don't speak fast. Who speaks fast? The young lawyers. Okay, the lawyer who are not famous. Children speak fast. Okay, you know why children speak fast? People who are afraid they will not be heard unless they're quick. They are trying to get a quick word before other people interject or stop them. Like they are like, got a chance. Now I have to speak everything very quickly so that I have said everything. Okay, this is how they speak. So in district court, young lawyers speaking very fast. Yes. Why they are speaking very fast? Because they are afraid psychologically even if they are not consciously aware of it, they are speaking fast so that they are quickly heard before judge throws away their file or whatever, or dismisses their case or whatever, right? So speaking fast, so Vismita is asking, speaking fast helps to cover a lot of points, right? Why is it wrong? I'll tell you why is it wrong. Okay. I think it is also because they are old. No, they are not because they are old. They have realized that speaking fast will actually take away your authority. You start speaking slowly and people will pay you more attention, I promise you. If you speak fast, you start speaking slowly and people will start paying you more attention. It's a basic psychological thing, okay? People who are sure they will be heard take their time to make their point, okay? Imagine that there is a dinner table, okay? In a family situation, there's a dinner table, right? Lot of people are sitting, and the whole family is sitting around the table, okay? Now close your eyes and remember who are the people. If maybe the leader of the family, head of the family, how do they speak? They will take their time and speak leisurely, right? Whereas the children will be squeaking and trying to shout and trying to, make a quick point and all of that, right? Yeah, they are medium. So if you compare with average American speaker, average American person, you'll always see the president speaks even slower than them. Okay, whatever is the average, the authority figure speaks slower than that. Okay, you may remember Vajpayee ji, right? Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Even Modi ji speaks quite not that fast, right? All political leaders you'll see, because any good orator knows that if they speak very fast, then they are losing an opportunity to hold people's attention. If you can hold people's attention, then you speak slowly. Okay, it does not matter if they are from English medium, whatever medium, right? If you can hold people's attention, you will take your time to speak and you will speak slowly. You will put gaps between words. Okay, why? Because speaking fast is a short way to ensure that you are not taken seriously and that people do not understand or retain your points. So Vismita is saying that if I speak fast, I'll make a lot of points quickly. Why not? Okay, but when you are speaking slowly, people can capture and actually understand and retain what you have said, and you want to say it in a manner that they remember. And if you are speaking very fast, then they won't remember. Okay, after watching Sherlock, I thought speaking fast is a good way to communicate, but it's complete nonsense. See, in Sherlock, they were showing that Sherlock is a psychopath, and they were showing that Sherlock is speaking really fast to make that point. If you speak that fast, people will think you are a psychopath. Okay, so when you speak slowly, you give people time to think. Okay, sociopath, sorry, not psychopath, sociopath, you are right. Thank you for correcting me. Most of the time we have to teach people to slow down, like when you are teaching people public speaking or how to speak, we are teaching people to slow down their speaking so that their words can have proper effect. You want your words to have proper effect? Speak slowly. Don't speak fast. Never ever did I have to teach people to speak faster. Almost always people speak faster than they should be. Some people say speak slowly enough. But if you really want to be a more powerful speaker, one of the things you need to learn to do is to slow down. Slow down. People, you will see that a lot of people are repeating what they're saying once, twice, thrice, right? And it helps to make the point. Sometimes in debates, you will see that good debaters, they are in the beginning, they're saying what points they're going to make, then they say those points, and in the end, they repeat that these are the points I made during my speech, right? So debates are very different. I won't say anything about debates like, there are certain debates in which things are a little different because it has its own pace, right? People are trying to make as many points as possible, as quickly as possible. But even in debates, to be honest, right? It does not help to speak fast. You will see a lot of people who speak very fast, trying to make a lot of points. But there are people who make fewer points, but they win the debates because they are making more impact with whatever they're saying. So if you want to make impact, you have to speak slowly. Trying to impress people during public speaking. How many of you are guilty about this? When you are going to speak, you are thinking, how do I impress all these people in front of me? Do you think like that when you are doing public speaking? This is also a big problem, right? What should you aim for when you are delivering a speech in public? To impress everyone, to win a prize? That is very juvenile. That's like you're a kid and you're trying to win a prize and impress people. That is not what it is. Public speaking is all about. If you want to be a good public speaker, you want to impress people, that's not the right approach. The goal of public speaking is to connect with people, right? And when you are impressing people, you're not connecting with them. You're creating a distance. Look, I am so much better than you. What is impressing someone? Look, I am so much better than you, right? This is the mindset you will have if you are trying to impress people. But you want to connect with people, then you think very differently. How many of you, when you are giving a public speech, actually try to connect with other people? Vis-a-vis actually trying to portray yourself as the most impressive person. 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗵, those are the wrong things to learn, okay? It's not going to help you. You may want to learn to, you want to improve your listening comprehension so that even if people are speaking fast, you can understand, but you don't want to speak fast all the time. It's a terrible idea. Okay, you don't want to speak fast ever. Okay, you want to speak slowly. Okay, but you want to improve your listening comprehension, reading comprehension, like that. Listening comprehension is also important. So when you are giving a public speech, what is important is to connect with people. Okay, or do you want to prove your superiority by being a pompous ass, right? Will people respect you more if they can't understand your talk? Okay, that's not true. Okay, it's not like people are going to say, wow, you know, Garima is so smart, she used such brilliant words, we could not understand what she said. That is ridiculous, right? Nobody is going to like you or connect with you if you do that. Number one rule of being a good public speaker is to learn to communicate with your audience in a way that you can sway people, right? People get impacted by what you're saying. People get influenced by what you're saying. You're so connected to them and they so much like what you're saying, or they benefit from it so much that they will take action. Okay? No, fast is not smart. Fast is not thorough. It is wrong. Get this out of your head right now. Okay? This is the same thing. You are trying to seem something. Do you realize, 𝗵𝗶𝗶? You're trying to impress other people, right? If you are speaking to impress other people, okay, and showing off, then you will achieve that maybe, but you'll never be able to connect with your audience. You'll never be able to influence your audience. You'll never be able to impact your audience. You'll never be able to benefit your audience. This is very juvenile, low standard thought that I need to impress people. I need to show them I'm so prepared, so thorough. No. How is it going to help you? If you are thorough or not will come out very soon. Are you smart or not will come out very soon. Nobody is going to believe this in the long term that you are very smart because you speak very fast. Okay, this is what you are thinking, but this is not going to help you, right? This is your feeling that maybe the people who are speaking fast are smarter than me. Is there any logic behind that? Absolutely nothing, right? So my friend's father, right, who used to teach us English together. So there was this guy who was my classmate in high school, and we used to go to class together, right? I used to go to his house to study, and this uncle, his father, used to teach both of us. Okay, and he said one day that you have to use the most difficult words when you are speaking, so that normal people can't understand what you are saying. Okay, and this is a good thing. Okay, he'll say that I gave a speech yesterday and nobody in the room could understand what I said, and people will, it's not a good thing at all. People will start avoiding you if they can't understand what you're saying. Do you realize you give speeches which is people are not able to understand such a 𝗁𝗂𝗏 Tharoor-esque, right? So people are not going to say, wow, 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗵 is so smart, whatever, doesn't matter, right? 𝗁𝗂𝗏 Tharoor is smart, everyone knows. He was under secretary of United Nations. If somebody else does it, nobody is going to give them any attention, right? Jaldi khatam kar. This is what will happen. So don't ever do that, okay? And don't try to impress people. You don't have to impress anyone. If your content is impressive, if what you are trying to do, you don't have to impress people, So there is this very important thing that I want to tell you about. Being interested versus being interesting, right? A lot of us are trying to be interesting. How do I make myself more interesting? How many of you want to be interesting? Tell me. How many of you want to be interesting? Look, I want to be the most interesting person in the room. Yes, no, maybe. Be honest. Do you want to be an interesting person? Do you want other people to find you interesting? Yes, no, maybe. Kuch to bolo. Everyone wants to be interesting, right? Now, this is a problem. Okay? This is the wrong approach. You don't have to be interesting at all. There is a much better way to do this. That is to take interest in other people. Okay? Can you be interested? Change interesting and make it interested. The moment you become interested in the other person and you are thinking for them, they will automatically take interest in you. Have this ever happened to you, that you are instead of trying to be interesting, you are taking interest in what is in their benefit, and they'll automatically become interested in you? Yeah, this is how it works. If you try to be interesting, there is no end to this. It is like a wild goose chase to try to be interesting. But when you are not trying to be interesting and you are interested in the other person and you are trying to help them, that is when you will encounter real success with people. Okay? Otherwise, people will keep you at a distance. They'll say, bhai, ye to bahut impressive hai, lekin, I mean, it's okay. Like, right? Just because you're impressed by someone, you don't get interested in them, right? Somebody trying to be interesting, you will say, this guy is a show-off, right? 100% you will not get interested in them. But if they take interest in you, right, you can see that they are interested in you. Suddenly, you also get interested in them, right? So paying attention to others' ideas almost results them in listening to me when I speak. 𝗂𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗏, right? Very good, right? So if you are going to give a talk, so this happened to me this way. How did I realize this? I was in college and I was a bad public speaker. I tried doing public speaking. Every time I bombed. Never worked. Why? Because I was very nervous every time. Because I was trying to be impressive, right? I want to be impressive. I want people to say, wow, this guy is so well spoken, so smart, so impressive, right? I was also thinking like that. So I was not becoming a good public speaker. But then I started teaching for CLAT, right? So there were all these kids I was teaching, and I knew a lot about CLAT because I had studied very hard. I knew stuff, and I was very interested in those kids. I wanted them to succeed. I wanted them to all crack CLAT. I wanted them to learn this. I wanted them to learn that. So I was interested in them genuinely, and I was trying to help them. I was supposed to take 1 hour class, but sometimes the class will go on for 4 hours because I'm teaching and teaching and teaching non-stop. And the kids will also stay back. Their parents will come and go saying that no, class is happening. We'll take them later. Let the class go on. Some people, 1 or 2 will leave. Rest will stay. Okay? Imagine. So why was I doing that? I was not getting paid for doing that. But because I was super interested in teaching, I was super interested in those guys succeeding. Can you imagine that? Right? So I was interested. So what happened? Those guys, those people those kids found me interesting. I did not have to impress them. I was not trying to impress them. I was just trying to teach them. I was just trying to help them. I was just trying to make them succeed. So in return, they became interested in me. And this always happens. If you take genuine interest in the other person, not pretending to be interested, but genuinely being interested, and they will benefit from you, automatically they'll become interested in you, right? So this is a very important thing to learn, right? So if you are doing this while you're doing public speaking, that you're trying to impress other people, you are You are bothered about how you sound rather than how much they benefit. How does it matter how you sound? There are so many leaders, there are so many communicators, there are so many coaches who are very bad public speakers. Did you see Abdul Kalam? Was he a good orator? Abdul Kalam, Professor Abdul Kalam. Do you know him? Have you heard of him? Professor Abdul Kalam? Right? Was he a very good orator? Did he give great speeches? No, but he was a very good communicator, because he was talking to people about the country's good, how to make the country great, how to do things, how to take a pledge for this, take a pledge for that. Now he was always interested in you. Yeah, I personally met him. He'll ask you, what do you do? Where are you from? He'll take interest in you. He was not trying to be the most interesting guy in the room, right? So whenever you take interest in other people, that turns the table. Okay. So how many of you got this point, or are you still confused about this? Yes, no, maybe. Just write that much in the chat. Did you understand the point? Okay. The moment you stop trying to be interesting in your speech or trying to impress people, it will free you up to add value to them. And the moment you add value to them, they will see value and everything will change. Okay. Okay. So, one big problem was that a lot of people don't realize this, but it's one thing to have a light conversation and another thing to express complex ideas. And there are certain things that you can learn and certain strategies you can take that you will be able to learn how to have light conversations. Okay. But you will not be able to express complex ideas, which is very important if you're a lawyer. You need to think on your feet. You need to express complex ideas and arguments and so on. After my class 10 exams, okay, I went to a spoken English teacher in the neighborhood. How many of you have also done this? Maybe after you went to a neighborhood spoken English teacher or classes. Have you ever done this? Yes, no, maybe. Have you done it ever? In the chat quickly. No. Anybody has done it? After 10th or after 12th or whatever, whenever till now? Never. Okay. So I did it because I knew I want to learn to speak English. So I went to one spoken English class. Okay. Okay. So the entire focus of those classes, okay, was to teach us how to memorize some lines that we could say in certain situations. Okay. Like what? Excuse me. How are you doing? Okay. Is this seat taken? May I ask your name? These kind of sentences they were trying to make us in a series, like, to learn all these sentences. Okay. So, and it's a huge problem, right? Why it's a problem? They taught us English as if we can learn the entire language by merely memorizing a bunch of phrases and situational sentences. Okay. Has this ever happened to you? Yeah. Okay. More of a ratification, right? So they were like, just memorize. In this situation, you must say this. Okay. If somebody says thank you, you say you are welcome. Right? This is what they were teaching us in English. Okay. So then what happened is that basically the idea was that you have to remember more and more sentences. Okay. You have to learn all these sentences and in the hope that it will teach you English. Okay. So how many of you actually try to do this? Remember as many, mug up all the words and sentences in the hope that it will teach you English. Right? Have you ever done it? Have somebody told you to do this and have you ever done it? Remembering all this, remember these phrases, these sentences, and okay. So this does not work at all, by the way, right? It will never work. It is complete waste of time. And if you are doing a course like that, or if you ever have done the course, then you already know it doesn't work, right? Tried mugging up a dictionary. Even I tried mugging a dictionary. I mugged a dictionary successfully. Okay. And it still did not help me. So if anybody thinks that, learning all the words will help you, it will not help you. How many? Okay. So you have to practice translation to learn English. This is the worst, I think, I have seen when I was in school. Okay, our teachers basically in school would say that you have to practice translation to learn English. Okay, luckily my father guided me properly here. He knew this. He said that, you know, you have to learn to think in English, right? By translating, you are just thinking in Bengali and then, or whatever language you have, and then translating it. It is too slow, right? So he could not show me how to achieve that, how to think in English. He could not explain to me, or could not help me with that. However, I saw most of my friends spending a lot of time practicing translations as if it is a valid way to learn English. A lot of them taking there are translation books, okay, where there are entire courses where the entire course is taking one sentence and translating it. Okay, kaise ho, how are you doing? like this translation, like this is another level of that. And they will have a lot of paragraphs. They'll give you a paragraph and say that now translate this paragraph. Okay, you can never learn English in that manner. Okay, so so these are few things that, you know, I identified that this is complete garbage. And because I thought this is how you learn English, it is a problem. And many of you are still asking questions that, right, can I not learn this way? You cannot learn this way. You can learn a few sentences, few phrases, some words, but you can do it for 10 years and you will still not learn how to, you will not forget going and arguing in a court. You will not be even have a conversation with your client, okay, in English, if you do this, right? So if you are doing translation, if you are memorizing sentences, situational sentences, I mean, you know, if I am going to let's say I'm going to a Spanish speaking country, and I know I'll be ordering in restaurants, and I will be there in the airport, I'll have to you know, I may have to use a restroom, so I can remember like 200 sentences and memorize them, and then it will can manage with that, right? But you cannot manage to become an English speaking lawyer and communicate and negotiate and mediate and you know, draft agreements in English with this, or speak before a judge in like this. It's not going to work, right? But you remember what worked? Some of you said that you learned, let's say, Hindi by just or some other Gujarati or Bengali, whatever other second language, third language you learned because of watching movies or hearing Never Speak It, or when you were a kid, just by listening, and all of that you have learned, right? So I just wanted to ask you, since you are attending this session, any suggestions, anything you have discovered so far while listening to this? You realize that, okay, this is one more possible garbage that I have identified, right? You know, this also is a possible garbage that is stopping me from growing in my quest for learning English. Anyone? Anybody has anything you have identified? Tell me in the chat. Okay. Reading books actually can help you to, if you read a lot of books, and I said this in another session, you have to repeatedly read the same book. Okay, watching English movies will help you. Okay, watching English movies will help you. This is not garbage. This is actually helpful. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what will help you also. It's not I'm going to leave you like this. I'm, after telling you the garbage, I'm going to give you actual things that help as well. So you need to come up with the right targets and goals. This is most important, right? So if your target is that I want to speak fast like a machine gun really quickly, that's not going to help you, right? If your target is to, I am going to write really ornamental language, I'm going to use long sentences, I'm going to do all these things, it's not going to help you, right? If you are sitting and translating hundreds of sentences hoping that it will teach you how to speak English, it never will, never. Okay. So what do you do, right? First, you have to come up with the right targets and goals. And I'm going to tell you how to set the right targets and goals. So what do you think you need to do in order to become good at English? Quickly tell me in the chat. What do you think you need to do at this time? What comes in your mind? Proper grammar? Sure. What else? What comes to your mind that this is what I need to do in order to become good at English? Anybody else? What comes to your mind? Vocabulary. Okay. What else? Anything else? Anything else? What else will you do? What will you do? Watching favorite movies with subtitles. Okay. Practice. Okay. So one thing is vocabulary. Okay. Important thing about vocabulary is that you don't have to mug up a dictionary. I have done it. It does not help. Okay. It's not useful. It is a waste of time. I mean, it's good. You learn a lot of words. Your brain gets a lot of exercise, but probably not that useful. Okay. And also vocabulary is not about knowing every word under the sun, right? Having a good vocabulary is very important, but how you develop it is by reading normal text, right? You can read newspapers, sure, but I very highly recommend reading good novels, something with a story, which you enjoy reading stories, right? So if you're reading a novel, you'll enjoy reading it. So that is a very good idea. If you're reading case law, you will not enjoy, but it's okay. If you want to learn, if you can enjoy case law, please go ahead. But when you're reading a story now, you will see the same word used again and again in the same novel, and it really helps you. And I have done an entire session on this, explaining how to do that. Okay, read the same book repeatedly again and again. Grammar also very, very important. But one common thing people think is that another mistake people make, another garbage, is that they think I'll read a grammar book and then I'll be able to learn the rules and apply them directly to when I'm speaking or I'm writing. It's very difficult, not going to work like that. Okay, you should read grammar books, you should learn the rules, definitely 100%, but you'll not be able to translate that directly into your correct writing or correct speech. Okay, for that you have to do other work, and you should not avoid speaking or writing because you're making mistakes. What you have to instead do is to write a lot, speak a lot, and keep correcting, or find somebody who will correct those mistakes. Total immersion, this is what I recommend. Okay, translation will never work. Translation will never work. You are not even teaching yourself to think in English. You are teaching yourself to think in your vernacular language, whatever you're comfortable with, and then you are translating. You will never learn to think in that language. And if you don't learn to think in that language, you'll never succeed. Now, how do you learn to think in that language? This is total immersion. Okay, our brain is a very powerful machine. If you give it an opportunity, it will pick up everything. It will pick up how to speak the language, how to write the language. All you have to do is you have to give it the inputs. What is the input? Total immersion. Like read only English books, watch only English movies, talk to everybody in English all the time for a while. Do it for 3 months, do it for a year, and immerse yourself in that language. Don't even engage with any other language. Very soon you'll learn to think in that language. Okay, total immersion. And I have explained this before also. There are immersion camps, right? Speak to yourself in English. That's a good idea. Speak to yourself in English all the time. And once you are speaking to yourself you'll come into the habit of thinking in English, and there'll be a day when you are dreaming in English. And when you start dreaming in English, that is when you have really succeeded, because then you'll be able to speak English on your feet. That is like you don't have to think of the sentence in your language, then translate and then speak. Many people are exactly having to do that. They first think in their language, then they translate it into English, and then they can speak. If you do this, you will never succeed. Okay, you have to learn how to think in English directly. Okay, practice speaking. This is very, very important. You have to practice speaking. If you don't practice speaking, you will not learn. So you need to have a group of people, or you need to have a teacher, or you need to have an environment where you are speaking again and again and again, and you are getting corrected. If you make mistakes, you're getting corrected, and there's nothing wrong in speaking it wrong. You speak it wrong and you get corrected, and you speak it wrong and you get corrected. This is how you will get good at it, and you will get corrected. The same thing for writing. You have to write in English a lot, and you have to get corrected a lot. And when you get corrected again and again and again, you will improve. Okay. Daily, how many hours I should speak English? At least 1 hour, I guess. I mean, at least it's not about 1 hour, 2 hour. If you can do it for 10 hours, right? All the time speak in English. Only tell your parents or whoever, your friends, that I'll only speak in English. Your English will also improve. My English will also improve. I could not do this until I was in NUJS. In NUJS, a lot of people used to speak in English. But some people used to speak in Hindi also, but I refused to speak to them in Hindi. I was always speak in English. Many people made fun of me also, saying that अंग्रेज का औलाद है क्या ये है वो. I don't care. I have to learn English. I'll speak only in that. But regular corrections is very important. Okay, you will make a lot of mistakes in the beginning. It is unavoidable. Don't even try to avoid mistakes, because you will make mistakes, but keep speaking with mistakes and then get corrected. It takes persistence and guidance. It's very hard to do it on your own. Many of you do not succeed because you're trying to do it entirely on your own. You need good guidance. The moment you get, it took me a long time to learn because I didn't have proper guidance. And I don't see why you should do that like me. You should get guidance whenever possible. So I want to ask you a question. How can you learn to swim? How many of you know here how to swim? How many of you know how to swim? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no, maybe. No. How many are no? Okay. Okay. Now remember, many of you at least know how to swim. So it is useful as an example. Those who don't know how to swim, do you know how to ride a bicycle or bike? Do you know how to do it? Yes. You know how to do it? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very good. Somebody who does not know how to swim, how to ride a bicycle, but at least you have learned to sing. Maybe this is another example I can think of, right? Maybe at least one of these three things you know. Is there anybody who doesn't know how to do any three of this? Just write I in the chat that you don't know how to do any three of this. Okay, there's nobody. So that's a good thing. Okay, apply the same technique here. How did you learn how to swim? Right? The only way to swim, 100% when you start swimming, if you go into the water, right? You'll drown a little, you will be like uncomfortable, and in the water you can't float, you don't know, and you know it happens 1 or 2 days you really struggle, right? Then they tell you just hold this railing and keep splashing your legs or whatever. How did you learn swimming? Something like this. If you learn how to ride bicycle, you start riding it and then you fall and then you get up and you do it again. There are people who actually stop doing it. Like, you know, there are people who go to the swimming pool 2 days and third day they refuse to go there. I don't want to go there. And they never learn. There are people who tried to ride a bicycle and they fell off the bicycle. So they stopped going. They said, no, it's too painful. I don't want to do it. So they don't learn. Same for singing. When you start singing, the teacher comes and says, "Sare gama karo," whatever. It is too boring, too painful, too irritating. So they do not do it. But it's a simple thing. Whether it is swimming, whether it is gymming, whether it is any of these things, right? Singing. If you practice for 1 hour every day, 1 hour every day you practice how to improve. And you have a teacher who's guiding you. Now, if you have no teacher, then you might not actually be able to practice it so much, because you might be practicing the wrong thing. You might be afraid, am I going in the right direction? Am I doing the right thing? You may get quickly demotivated, right? But a good teacher will shorten the time you will take to learn and will keep you motivated and help you to learn, right? Whatever mistakes you're making, you'll correct. Now, if you tell me something, if you practice singing every day for 1 hour for the next 1 year, whatever you are in singing right now, will you not be much better after 1 year? Yes, no, maybe. Tell me. Okay. So consider that if you are struggling to learn English, there may be 2-3 problems. One problem is that you are trying to do garbage or learn garbage because you're trying to speak too fast. You're trying to write ornamental language. So you're learning the wrong thing to begin with, right? You're doing a lot of translation. You'll never learn. Okay. So maybe your technique is completely wrong. You're going completely in the wrong direction because you have the wrong guidance. The other possibility is that you are not spending enough. You have the right technique. Some of you will have the right technique also, but then simply you are not spending enough time in a disciplined manner, in a correct direction. You're not going enough, so you're not getting any results. Okay. So what do you think is your situation? Situation 1 or situation 2? Why are you stuck? If you're trying to learn English and you're struggling, right? Like Fahad, right? What is the problem here? Why are you not able to move in the right direction. Problem kya hai? Which one of the situation? Write one or two, whatever it is in the chat. If it is one, if it is one. If it is two, it is two. Right? So this is what is the most important thing. We can help you. LawSikho can help you. Remember that this is not only about English. You have to, if you are a lawyer, which I'm guessing all of you are lawyers and law students, then just learning English is not enough. You have to learn legal English, right? Legal English communication, right? You have to be a good communicator, and LawSikho can help you with that. We have an amazing course. I'll quickly show you that course before we go to the next slide. So we have a course, Legal English Communication course, right? And this is the only course out there which is on legal English communication, where we are teaching English communication to lawyers, oratory, writing, listening, and accuracy, right? You guys can check this out on your own. Here is the link. I'll share it quickly with the YouTube people as well. Right? Because I faced so much garbage, I also didn't want other people to face the same problem. And I created a course. It took me a lot of effort. I had to find the right expert. I myself had to do a lot of research that how are we going to teach legal English communication to lawyers and law students in the shortest possible time, right? So the enrollment is on for the next 23 days, and then the enrollment will close. The price is 50,000. For this, we teach you for 12 months. And there are 3 classes every week. And in every class, we'll give you 2-3 exercises which you will correct, and you will get personal feedback on that. One-on-one proper feedback you will be getting on that, so that you can improve. And you'll get this kind of a safe space in this course, okay, where you can practice legal English communication, the special English skill that is needed as a lawyer for writing, for drafting, for speaking, for arguing, for negotiating, all of that, right? And in this course, we don't teach any law, but we teach you communication skills, everything that you'll need as a lawyer. Okay, so you can go through the syllabus, and I don't need to tell you why English is so important, right? So I'll go back to my presentation quickly. Okay, so I have a webinar tomorrow at 9 p.m. It's on how to achieve fluency, how to think on your feet, and master articulation as a lawyer. So anybody who will want to join this? Who wants to join this tomorrow? Who want, if you are interested, here is the link, you guys can join. Okay, free webinar tomorrow again, 9 p.m. right? 9 to 10 p.m. you can come here and join us, right? This is a free webinar that you can register. And those who are watching this on YouTube, I especially invite you to join this. Right, so that you can join it on, oops, I've got the link wrong, seems. No, I've got it right. Okay, so that'll be awesome. There is one more thing that I wanted to tell you about. Okay, if you want to know about all the legal English related things we do, okay, there is a WhatsApp group for that. Okay, please join here. Okay, join this WhatsApp group so you can stay updated with anything, any content, free content we share from time to time. So if you're not a part of the WhatsApp group already, please join here. So what are your biggest pains with respect to English? Now that we are done with this, but I would love to know your questions, and I would love to know what are the pain points you're facing. If you're trying to learn English, what difficulty are you facing? Okay, where are you stuck? Tell me. Let me see if I can help you. Not having proper words. Lack of practice and knowledge in grammar. Problem while arguing. Okay. Communication are not able to remember the words. Not able to remember words. Okay. What else? What other problems are you guys? How to find someone to speak English with? This is also a problem. See, if you find the wrong person to speak English with, right, then they might be making mistakes. So you will be picking up their mistakes. So you want to be careful about that. Now, if somebody is already good in English, why will they practice with you? Because they already don't have time. But you can do this, that you can come to such webinars. 𝗏𝗡 has a lot of webinars, mostly in English. So you can attend that. You can come and speak a little. But this is why I recommend that. So if somebody do not have money, you have to worry a lot that what to do. But if you have the money, and we can arrange for a loan also from Bajaj Finance, please enroll in that 1-year course, because all the struggles that you're facing today will be over. You will not face this problem, and we have 1 month money back guarantee also for that course. So if you don't like it in 30 days, you can take your money refund, right? So there is no loss, there is no risk on you, right? So you can read the refund policy on the website. But if you're struggling with English, why do you want to not take the chance? You just have to try it out. Okay. Yeah. So lot of you have confidence problem basically, and the confidence will come from speaking. So you know what happens when you have never done something, you're afraid of making a mistake. But imagine that you have made this mistake 100 times and you're in the habit of making mistakes, but you correct it and you learn the next one and the next one. So, you know, when children are speaking, are they afraid of making a mistake? No. That is why children can learn very fast. You are afraid of making a mistake, that people will judge me. What will they think of me? What will people think? People will think I don't know English. People will think I'm an idiot, whatever, right? But you know, this is why you need to find a safe environment, an environment where you can make mistake and people are not judging you, right? You need to find people who will correct it without judgment. It is their job to correct you. This is why it is very, very important to find such safe environments. Otherwise, you will be stuck with this, right? Whatever problem you are facing, you're not able to improve. Do you want to be stuck with this for the rest of your life? I don't think so. You want to change this, right? And if you want to change it, you need to get the right help. That's very, very critical. And as lawyers, your career pretty much gets stuck at a level unless you can improve your English, right? So it's very important. You have to, and remember, it's not only English, it's about communication. Can you communicate, right? You know the words is one thing. There was a time when I used to think that I don't know the words, so I'm not able to speak. So I remembered a dictionary. I memorized one dictionary. Still, it did not help me. I was still not able to speak. Okay, then I thought I am making grammatical mistakes, so I should read a grammar book. I read the grammar book from beginning to end. I am a good student. I remembered everything. Still, I was not able to apply it when I was speaking. The only way I could fix it is by regular speaking, regular writing, and correction every single time. So if you correct a mistake a couple of times, you don't make it again. But you will be still making other mistakes. Now imagine you have 1,000 mistakes to make, and you make all the mistakes and get corrected in all the 1,000, then you will become fine. Who corrected me? It was I was correcting myself, which is why it took a lot of sometimes people were correcting me, but like, you know, friends, whatever. But most of the time I had to catch my mistakes and I had to correct them. It is possible. This is why it is not impossible to do it on your own, right? I never said it is impossible, but it is 100 times easier if somebody else do it for you, right? It is 100 times more easy if somebody helps you with it, somebody corrects you. But if you have to correct yourself, then you have to catch yourself consciously every time and correct. Catch yourself and correct. And you have to do it 1,000 times. Okay. How to know whether you have made a mistake while speaking or writing? This is very hard. So it's like this, that you have learned the grammar, right? You read a grammar book and you have learned. So when you are speaking, after speaking, you are thinking, did I make a grammatical mistake? And then you will be able to catch, oh, I said where instead of was. And then you say it again correctly. It is a messy process. It's a very, very bad and messy process. Very hard. I don't know. I I mean, I've never seen anyone else doing it apart from me. I mean, I'm sure other people have done it, not like I am the only person who have done it. But most people are not able to do it, Prashant. But you can try. Okay, you can always try. You have to develop that judgment to catch yourself when you're making a mistake. For that, you have to learn the grammar and then try to catch yourself. But it is much easier when other people are correcting you, right? Even every day for 1 hour you do this, that's great. It would be amazing. Okay, so is there any other question or should we wrap up here? All right, thank you everyone for joining me. Hope to see you again. Take care. See you tomorrow. There is a webinar. See you tomorrow.